Yesterday, the staff of the Khmh Memorial Hospital made it to work in shorts as a form of protest to shortages in medical supplies and other shortfalls within the institution, which the KHMH Workers Union say are affecting the delivery of care to patients. This took place even after union executives met with Minister of Health Kevin Bernard and the administration of the hospital on Tuesday. While it was believed that all parties left the meeting amicably and that the protest would be placed on halt as discussions continued, yesterday the healthcare workers arrived at work in short pants and t-shirts after the members of the union mandated that the plan of action be executed. Today, the staff also made it to work in shorts instead of scrubs. This is because several staff members who participated in yesterday's protest were sanctioned by the administration of the hospital for not wearing proper attire to work. According to President of the KHMHW, Andrew Beard, the entire pharmacy staff and 3 clerical staff were anecdoted even after the administration of the hospital indicated yesterday during a morning meeting that there would be no repercussions for those taking part in the actions of the KHMHW.
5 minutes after we left that meeting, we found out from one of our members that she was anecdoted by one of the directors who was in that meeting. And throughout the day, some other members of staff and our union membership received anecdotes. It even went further that when we had our membership meeting yesterday, several of the clerical staff was called out from that meeting and was anecdote to be for participating in that meeting and have on their union shirts. This can only be classified in our view as intimidation and union busting. We warned the CEO and the management team yesterday that if they continue to agitate the members and staff of the of Khmh in this while we effect our plan of action, then it will become more difficult for the executive to try to reason with our membership to see how we can continue dialogue.
According to Beard, union members were in their right to participate in the protest.
We have cited chapter 3 or 4 of the laws, I believe. That's the Employer and Union Registration and Recognition Act. And I think in section 4 of that act, where it says under employees' right, not union member right, it's an employee's right, that the employees has the right to partake in union activities.
Can you just put that on par with the fact that you are essential service workers? How does that come into play?
Certainly, as essential workers, we are not interrupting the services of Khmh. We are just sending a clear message to the management that we are sending a clear message to them that we are tired of coming to work on a daily basis and does not have the necessary supplies and materials to do our work.
In regard to the formation of the collective bargaining agreement, which all parties agreed will be formulated during the meeting with the minister on Tuesday, Beard says that 6 months is not enough time to draft the document.
It is clear that we are saying that we need to have our materials. They bring the materials and say, oh, we have some materials here, hundreds of thousands of materials, supplies. But after 2 weeks and that depleted, where is the continuity? We do not want to sit at the table for promises that would be only for a short period. Or we come to work every day. This is our livelihood. We want to know that we are certain to have continuity with our thing. And it's beyond shortages. We have we want to ensure that job security for our security officers and doctors who are being placed on fixed-term contract for 1 year, and on annual basis, these contracts are renewed, but there are uncertainty for these employees.
And that's Beard's side of the story. Today, when the media spoke to CEO of the Khmh, Chandra Cancino, about the anecdotes handed over to some members, she stated that Beard was informed that wherever anecdotes was written would not go on the employee's staff.
Usually the supervisors will respond to whatever policy issues that may arise, and that includes the dress policy issue. And so indeed, before Mr. Baird called me to tell me that they were going to proceed with the casual day, I call it, some anecdote, they call anecdotes, which is like an acknowledgement that you have violated the dress code. It's not it's like a first kind of warning. Yes. That the person also has to decide were issued. We met with the union in the morning, and I did give my word to Mr. Baird and the executive that whatever anecdotes are written would not go on the patient's on the staff's file for that day, simply because we are just familiarizing ourselves with what is going on. And the past president also said, well, you have to prepare staff that if you will come and do action, you have to be, they might get some anecdotes and we will have to deal with those. So I gave my word on that. Apparently afterwards, some persons still receive anecdotes, and so Mr. Baird called me after the meeting and he mentioned to me, I said, don't worry, I already gave you my word that those anecdotes will not go on the personal files. And so that is essentially what happened, and that still applies up until today.
If the unions decide to continue with the protest, the repercussions, if any, will be discussed, says Cancino.
Then we'll have to sit and discuss that along with the union. So like I said, we have to take this one day at a time. We don't know what the long-term plan is.
Okay, so there was a board meeting this morning. Can you comment on that?
There was a board meeting. I can't say too much simply because it was primarily to discuss the current issue at hand. The president of the union sits on the board. There were discussions about going forward, and he will go back to his executive and his membership again with a view to resolve the issue and hopefully come up with a solution sooner rather than later. So we're waiting to see what result that will yield.
What are actual moves being made to resolve the situation?
Well, there have been many. The first one was us meeting with the union a few weeks ago, just as a management and union meeting. And then we had the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Khmh, and the union meeting. I think that was Tuesday. And then we had another meeting with the union yesterday morning, and then there was the meeting today with the board and with the president who sits on the board.
It is the hope of Cancino that with all concerns brought to the table by the union being addressed either short-term or long-term, the protest will discontinue.
We've addressed every single concern that has been brought to us, so we hope that by having done that, the union would be able to appreciate that there is nothing that they have brought to us that we haven't at least tried to address. Like I said, some fixes are short-term and some are long-term, so we look forward to positive results again.